Right. Well, first of all, let's start with the big debate on the show today. Were the Patriots on the play when Polk fell down, the 2-point conversion? What were your thoughts of the Patriots going for two there?
Oh God, I hated it. We all went off on it. I mean, and I think this just is like general. I just don't get it. Like me and Paul and Hardy, were like, just someone explain it to me other than, well, you know what you need. I just feel like if I'm a player, I'm great. I'm down 8 points. A huge difference between being down 8 and being down 9. And if you score at the end and you've got the momentum and you're putting all the pressure on a final 2-point conversion to tie it, like I'm great with that. Like, you miss it with 7 minutes left in the game and it feels like we're down 9. We need 2 scores. Like your whole demeanor, I feel like as a player changes. So I don't get it. I got people on Twitter sending me like matrices and like, well, here's the probability, blah, blah. I no one has explained it to me yet in a way that I understand and agree with.
All right, so that's where Hardy got his whole take.
Deuce got it from me. He wrote down what I was saying in the postgame show yesterday.
Yeah,
no,
I like this guy,
and I got that same graph, and it's like the margin of error is 0.5%. I'm like, you know what? Have some sense of how the game is going, and how that game was going is you couldn't score past your second offensive
You
drive.
weren't going to get the ball more than once the rest of the day, and you got to be down 1 score.
By some miracle, you found the end zone again after given the gift of the idiotic decision to go for it on 4th down on the other end of the field that they didn't convert on. So they didn't put up any more points on you. So now, by a miracle, you've gotten back to the end zone. Take your 1 point, be down 8, see if another miracle can happen. Instead, you're asking for 2 more miracles? Stop it with that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
I'll never get it. Send me more matrices though. I enjoy them.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get math?
Not generally. It's my understanding there's no math.
So you're just going to lean into your ignorance.
That's perfect.
Very good, Mike.
Angrily.
All right. Well, look, Mike is very angry because he's the defensive guy, and we were having the discussion earlier about with the absences on the defense this year, and we rattled off 3 players, and Peppers and Barmore and who else? Bentley. Yeah. How different is that game yesterday if those 3 guys are playing, Mike?
I mean, it's definitely different, but I mean, it's, at this point, you can't really sit there and be like, well, if we had these guys that got, hurt 2 months ago or, just got this, like, it's just not realistic. They have to play better. I mean, I think we were all hoping that they were going to, show a little something, but I mean, they just can't get off the field. And as much as you want to be excited about Drake May, and, certainly I thought he made some strides yesterday, and that was, great game plan coming out in the first quarter, but if you can't get stopped and then you're giving up big scores on special teams, it's going to be hard for any offense. They touched the ball once in the third quarter. So, right now, I just, you're right, Hardy. I'm sick about the defense. They got to find a way to turn it around. And there's just not really the personnel waiting in the wings. Like, we just get this guy back. Unfortunately, they're going to have to figure it out themselves.
All right. So I came away with 3 points about the Patriots in general. Number one is I'm not concerned because I don't really think it matters, but Mayo's longevity as a coach, and people are talking crap after games now, and that was brewing for a while. And like you said, like the Texans game and the Jaguars game and the Jets game, teams, when they get up a couple of scores against the Patriots, really put it in neutral. Like, you can just run against the Patriots and just be satisfied killing clock. Because you know they're not going to come back, which has got to be the hardest thing as a coach to watch, because at the NFL level, regardless of talent, teams shouldn't just be able to run 5-6 yards a clip at you up the middle. Like, they just shouldn't be able to do that all the time. Like, you have guys that played major college football. They're being paid to be there. They're large. You should be able to navigate a plan when they go, we're running, and you go, I know, to stop it. All right, so are you concerned at all about? It's easy to lose a locker room in the NFL. We know this. Are you at all concerned about Mayo's ability to keep this together this season?
Oh, great rant, Fred. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, they run it like 18 straight times at one point, and that's, like you said, we know they're running it. They know they're running it. And they don't care. And I mean, how many times there was just so much space inside? They were dominating the line of scrimmage. They were winning, and I mean, I think you can see it on the coach's face of just there's nothing you can do. There's nothing fancy. There's no big scheme that they're doing. They're just lining up and pushing you back. So, I mean, that's a huge concern. And I mean, I think you heard Mayo say it last night. We're a soft team, and that's I think, the core of it. I mean, it's kind of a cliche of stopping the run in the game, but if you can't stop the run, you can't get off the field. You can't give your quarterback more chances to, make plays. And I think that's what's a little bit frustrating is you feel like you almost have a little bit with Drake May where maybe they can come from behind a little bit with this kid. Maybe they can have a couple explosive plays. I mean, that, final scoring drive they had where it was like bing, bang, boom. All right, well, that makes you feel a little bit better about some of these games where they've gotten into holes. But like you said, if they can't get off the field, he's not even getting the chance to get the reps to develop. So I think the run defense is got to be the first thing that they've got to try to figure out a way to fix. And again, they don't really have anyone to turn to. They're already spinning the dial with the personnel.
Okay, so the second point of the three is that Bill Belichick should never get another job in the NFL. That this is, like you just said, this roster is a disaster. He won 4 games with a better roster and a third-year quarterback last year. So don't give me he was magical and this is all Mayo's fault and they didn't do anything to improve the team. The team sucked last year too. So yeah. I mean, does this team's performance hurt Belichick's chance of getting a coaching job next year?
I don't think so. I mean, I still kind of think some team's going to get desperate and want, that to come in and change their whole narrative. I still feel like he'll get one, but it's just tough with both sides pointing the finger at each other about, I mean, look, there was a bunch of bad drafts that got us to this point. And unfortunately, a lot of the moves that they made this offseason haven't really paid off right now. The draft class, other than Drake May, is kind of struggling, is banged up. So, I think it's all goes together. And when you get to this point where you're 1-6 and you're losing 6 games in a row, it's not just point the finger at this guy or that guy. No question. I think we talked plenty about on our shows about the drafts that they missed, the high round talent that they just couldn't seem to stack. And it seems like now they've got maybe a couple of those guys with May and maybe Gonzalez, but it's not enough right now. They need more, no question. And I think, coming into the season, we all just kind of assumed that the defense would be okay, but you take Barmore out, you take Judon out, all of a sudden you don't really have pass rush. So, you pull one thread and the rest is kind of falling apart. So I think that's the problem. It feels like whack-a-mole right now where it feels like the offense, maybe the offensive line is improving a little bit, but alas, there you go. You give up a punt return touchdown, and what difference does it make?
All right. And the third and final point that I'll make is that you got to be excited about Drake May. If you watch the NFL, I mean, he's can extend plays, which is necessary. Anyone who says it's not, watch your boy on the Jets. It's necessary to extend plays. He's obviously got the arm, but beyond that, Matt, Chris, I'm sorry, beyond that, Chris, this doesn't. He hasn't been overwhelmed. He doesn't look lost. He doesn't look scared. He makes mistakes. Every quarterback does, and he's a kid. But the most important thing to me beyond the physical traits is that he has never looked panicky or like this is too fast for him, as a rule.
Yeah, really even keeled. I mean, you almost want him to show a little bit more excitement sometimes, I think. But look, if you're going to point to something to feel good about yesterday, it was, him coming out and looking in week 2 like he made some real progress. I know, look, there were a couple balls that maybe got away from him that, maybe should have been picked off too, but to come out of the second game with no turnovers after what it looked like the first week, I agree with everything you're saying. He's got enough athleticism to squeak out and pick up those yards. Those are always killers on third down. So really excited about his development. I mean, they got this friggin' Ben Brown rookie center, not rookie, but, journeyman center coming in and doing okay in front of him. So, yeah, that's the big piece right now. You feel good. They got to find something else. They got to find another receiver to step up and complement Hunter Henry, who can't do it all himself. We saw yesterday, Douglas was sick. He wasn't effective. So they need someone else in that wide receiver room to step up and make more plays. But it's all on Drake right now. Just like that, all of a sudden the narrative is like, this kid's good, but it feels like we're putting it all on him right now.
They have 1 win right now. How many wins will they have at the end of the season?
I mean, playing like they've been playing, it's hard to find the next few. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be an 8-9 win season by any stretch of the imagination, but when the defense can't get off the field, they can't stop the run. Even when they get the third down, they can't get the stops. They can't pressure the quarterback. I mean, it's really hard to put it on Drake May that Drake May is going to lead us to a couple more wins. Certainly, Tennessee coming up. There are some games that you would at least look at paper and say they should have a chance. But I mean, hard to tell you. I'm a defense guy, and after seeing how that defense played right now, they have to turn around. They have to play way better for them to be able to even get to that second win. Maybe it comes here in the next few weeks with some of these matchups, but I'm sure the Jets are coming in this weekend. They're not going to be happy, and they're going to be, looking for some.
Don't worry about the Jets, Mike. Come on, you're doing this all wrong. Jets win at Tennessee, win at Chicago, win. Then you're back. Then you're back home. Rams, nothing. Win. You go to Miami. Tua's probably going to be out again. Win. They're winning the next 5. It's fine. Colts
I love
win.
It.
Probably win.
Cardinals win.
They'll probably beat the Jets. I bet you they do beat the Jets.
I believe
they might lose to the Bills in Buffalo. That's the only loss I see in the next 7.
That's stupid.
No.
I mean, the Jets getting destroyed by a team with Russell Wilson as quarterback. I mean,
it's disheartening. Love to think that they'd have love to see they can put something together this week against that team. But I mean, every single one of these games is going to be a grind. And until the defense starts getting off the field and giving Drake some more chances, then maybe we'll see something. Maybe we'll see those games like way back when in the 90s at the end of Bledsoe's rookie year. He started, really starting to click, and you felt excited going into next season. It's got to be more than just Drake May this year.
Mike, is the team back in the building today?
I believe so. They got in late last night. I think the players probably in this afternoon. I know we're going to talk to Mayo here coming up at 9:00, so we'll hear from him and see how they're going to regroup.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Dussault, Mike Dussault.
That's his name.
I know. I said Matt, Chris.
That's all right.
I said
Deuce.
everything.
Deuce. You know what Mike
People
told me
call you
yesterday?
Deuce?
When Adam reaches out to him, he says, "Hey, it's 12." And Mike, it took you a moment to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. I got a
Did I do
text from
that? I usually throw the Adam in there too because I'm still the new guy. Apologies, Mr. Dussault. Apologies, Deuce.
No, yeah, all good. No, I just I've never gotten a text from a number before, and I was a little confused for a second. That's all.
Yeah. So he was making fun of you, Adam. Is basically a long way of going that they were teasing you.
I
can take it.
Mike's a good person. He's not like us.
No, well, I mean, the fact that he came up, he was probably like, "Who's this a-hole that keeps sending me 12?" And then he was like, "Oh, that's Adam. He's a real piece of crap." And then the two of them started going in. That's how my brain works. That's how I assume everyone's talking about me, and I'm assuming correctly. Mike Dussault. Well, listen, you got Hardy, and I don't know any reason why you shouldn't be back next week. And all right, so enjoy yourself.